everyone. Thanks for joining my next chapter in this module. So, in the last module, we have seen about functions and calling a function, function expressions, statements, and also we have seen about arrays and objects. So, that takes us to the last key concept in JavaScript, which is looping of objects and arrays. So, loop is nothing but if you want to have a set of a code which has to run again and again uh, in a sequential manner, then you go for a loop. For example, if you have a set of names or a set of numbers in your array, and if you want to print one by one, or if you want to pass that values into a function one by one, then you have to go for a loop. So in JavaScript, there are many number of loops, starting from for loop, and we have for each, and we have while loop, and if we go inside, we have for in loop. So in this, we are going to see some main concepts. Main loops in JavaScript, which are for and while loop. So once we start working on a project, we'll get a chance to work with the other loops. So let me start with the first one, which is a for loop. So for loop gives us the basic syntax of starting and writing a loop, and in most of the cases, it will be good enough if you are comfortable with for loop. While loop will use very rarely, but still it's worth to learn. So let me start with for loop here. So let's start with the syntax. So for inside for we have three things. First is we have to initialize a variable. We know how to do that. Equals 0. Then we are going to give the condition till which this loop has to run. So I'm going to say this loop has to run 5 times. Okay, so then it takes to the last part of the loop, which is we have to increment it or decrement it. So for now I'm going to increment it. Let's console log. So as I have refreshed this, this has to run 5 times, right, based on our condition. So I will start from 0, it will go here and it is going to log this one. Then I gets incremented by a value of 1, then I will be 1. Again this will be logged, then I will be incremented again. So I goes and becomes 2. Likewise, it starts from 0 and goes till 4. So once it becomes 5 here and the condition gets failed. Okay, I'll reiterate one more time. I will be of 0 value, then comes here 0 is less than 5. Yes, it is truthy. Then it goes here. It works. Then it goes here and increments by 1. So now I will be 1 and comes here. 1 is less than 5. So this method runs and I becomes I plus plus, which is 2. So now 2 is less than 5. Likewise, it runs 5 times. So as it starts from 0, it goes till 4. So once it becomes 5, 5 is less than 5, this condition fails. So totally the console.log should run 5 times. If we go to our Chrome, this works has run 5 times. This is the count. It is showing us a batch in the left. Okay, so now I have the option to log the index value, which is I here. So based on our understanding, at the first it should log 0, then it should log 1, 2 and 3 finally. So I'll save it, and if I go here, it has logged 0, 1, 2 and 2, 3 and 4. Okay, this is the basic looping here, and this will help us for working with arrays too. Okay, so let me declare an array. I'll name it as my array. which is, let me take a set of strings, 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4. So what we have to do is I equals 0, then I minus, we have 1 2 3 4, right? So I'll pass this value here, I'll be 4, and I plus plus. Here console.log, what I'm going to do is, as we know, for if you have watched my previous lecture, I have told to access an array you have to pass 0 or 1 or 2 or 3 to access that particular object. So in our case, at the first I have passed 0. So as this is a loop, we don't I will be having the value as 0. On the next loop it will have 1. So instead of passing zeros and 1 hard coded, we can pass it as 1 here. Okay, so uh, it will print 1 2 3 4. So execution will be, var will be assigned 0, then it comes here 0 is less than 4, so it goes and checks for my array of 0, which is 1, so it gets printed here as 1. So it goes to the next one, and I gets logged with 1, and 1 is less than 4, so it comes here, my array of 1 is 2. So likewise it prints everything. We have one more improvement to do in this code, that is, I have hard coded this part. So if I go and write one more name here, my code will fail because this will not print 5, as we have logged only 4 here. So then we can directly come here and change, but as this is not dynamic, I have one more option here to find the length of my array, that is my array dot length. So if I do that, what will happen? My array dot length will be 1 2 3 4 5. So in this case, what happens, as my indexer starts from 0 0 1 2 3 4, so it should be till 5 ideally, but length gives me 0 1 2 3 4 5. So for that we have around 5 values, that's why length is giving me 5, but my indexer value is 4. So what I can do is I can reduce the value from here. So in this case, if I go back and check it, one sec, my array dot length will give me 5. That's because I is less than, in this case I minus 1 will come if you put less than or equal to. So in this case it will come my array dot length minus 1, but in our case this should be good. Okay, so this is all with for loop and its array. So I'll reiterate what we have learned so far. So we'll start with the for loop, and we have 3 statements here. One is will initialize the variable I. It can be any variable, you can name it as j also. So if you name it as j, then this becomes j here, so, and this becomes j here, this becomes j. So it can be any value. So variable j equals 0 and j is less than a number here if you are going for a normal for loop, but if you are dealing with arrays, then it should be my array dot length. Okay, so array dot length will give you 5. So and I plus plus, here j plus plus, so I'm going to console dot log of my array of j. So at the start it will be 0, then it runs and gives me 1, and my array of 1 is 2, my array of 2 is 3, my array of 3 is 4, and my array of 4 is 5. So once it becomes 4 here, and the value will be 5 here. So, and after that loop gets finished, so we go to the next iteration in which j becomes 5, which is not less than this 5. So this expression becomes falsy and our loop breaks. This is how for loop works, and in this case we have printed everything here. So that's all with for loop and arrays of for loop. In the next chapter, we'll see about while loop.